Hey guys, HughZ here. Week 1 of the Smite Pro League is in the books, and so we come back to our weekly power rankings and predictions. So let's go ahead and get right into it by taking a look at our EU power rankings. So at the top, we're going to have the undefeated team Dignitas, and they've essentially swapped a top spot with Obey Alliance. Obey split with Enix during the week, kind of unexpectedly. I thought Obey should have had that one pretty comfortably 2-0, but either Enix has improved a lot or Obey has slipped a little bit. I think it's probably a combination of both. Maybe it's Obey just warming up and getting back in the swing of things, and Enix having an improved roster. So I'm going to slip Obey a little bit downwards, and I think Team Dignitas and all of their victories look very strong as well, given they were against basically the two lowest ranked teams I have on this list, but still, I think the roster from Team Dignitas is only going to get better with time. That brings us to our third spot, where I have Energy Esports keeping the same position as last week. They split with Team Rival, which is what I predicted. They're pretty much at the state where I think that they're at, but I think they looked really good in Game 2, so I think if Energy starts to really switch things back on, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the SPL. Next up, we have Enix, and I've moved Enix up a spot, I've moved Team Rival down a spot, so essentially they've traded places as well. Boss Rival did split with Energy. I think Enix's split with Obey was more impressive for me, and Enix also got a nice 2-0 win over the Puppies, actually finding a really good come from behind victory in game number 1. So for me, this is less about Rival and more just about the strength of Enix at the moment. Next up, I've swapped the Puppies and Elevate around. Elevate did not look great this week. Nika in the jungle clearly needs to build some more synergy with the rest of his team, and just overall, a lot of things need to improve for this roster. Whereas the Puppies, I think they had good showings in both of their sets this week. They did pick up only a split and were 0-2'd by Enix, I believe. But still, I think they looked very strong, and this is a team with a lot of potential moving forward. And on the bottom for EU, it's going to be Burrito. I haven't really seen too much to impress me from that squad yet. I hope that they can improve and get better, but I mean, they did play Dignitas this week, and yeah, Dignitas is really good, and Burrito is not as good. All right, so let's take a look at the North American side of things. So a few switch-ups here as well. Luminosity going to keep their position at the top of the table, although they're a lot closer to the other teams than what I thought they would be. They didn't look crash hot in a lot of their games. It looked like Scary D was maybe a little bit out of practice, and that right side of the map definitely felt vulnerable for Luminosity. Eager impressed me a lot in their set against Monkey Madness, and I started to believe a little bit more in this team again, and so I swapped them and E United around. E United, and that's I think against E United. That's just, I think Team Eager looks really strong at the moment, and if these two were to match up, I'd go for, I would say that Eager would probably win that matchup. In fourth, we have Monkey Madness, who looked really good in both their sets this week, although given that one of them, I believe, was against Flashpoint. But even against Eager, they look good. So this whole roster, they've kept the exact same team as from last split. They all look really good. They won with a double stack in Kukulkan. So, there's got to... Sorry, no, that was in memory of Gabe. What did they... They won with something really impressive. Goodness, I forget now. But this team looks really good. Oh, they won with the Scylla. And Andy was getting some nice ultimates off and was doing a ton of damage with that Scylla. I just think this whole roster looks really, really strong right now, and they could definitely be challenging for one of those top 3 positions as the split goes on. Next up, Allegiance and In Memory of Gabe. Allegiance looked a lot stronger than what I thought they would, a lot stronger. Whereas Gabe, yes, they won with that double stack in Kukulkan, but I still don't... I think... I wasn't sure who the solo laner was for them. I thought it was going to be Meerkat, but they picked up Kiki So Cheeky. But I think Allegiance overall just impressed me more than In Memory of Gabe did. And in our final 2 spots, we've got Noble and Flashpoint. Noble had some good showings, but I think just overall, I can't put them above any of these other teams. And Flashpoint, well, I mean, don't think we really need to talk too much about that. All right, now we come to our combined power rankings. So, At the top, just like in the EU Power Rankings, is going to be Team Dignitas, so they and Obey Alliance have swapped. Energy is going to retain the number 3 position, and then I'm going to move Enix up to the number 4 position, and Team Rival down to the 5th position, but above Luminosity. So Luminosity actually drop, I think 1 or 2 spots. 2 spots, I think, from last week. Because overall, it just looks like these top 5 EU teams are going to be... They're going to be close battles, all split, I think, between these 5 teams. And even, 3 of them, I think, get a guaranteed spot to land. No, 2 of them get a guaranteed spot to land, and the other 2 have to qualify through a gauntlet, I think. I'm not sure, but I know there's 4 teams that is going to... 4 EU teams that are going to DreamHack Valencia, but I have 5 really strong teams here, so... I think it's really going to come... The 4th spot's going to be between Enix and Team Rival. I think that's going to be a really great battle to watch later in the split. Eager, I've moved up a spot. Like, they've traded with E United, just as they did in the North American Power Rankings. Not too much to talk about there. And then Monkey Madness I have in the same spot, but I have them, without them moving up a spot, I feel more confident in this team than I used to. I feel like Monkey Madness performed really well on the weekend, and they definitely look like a stronger team than I thought they would. Allegiance and In Memory of Gabe swap, just like the Puppies and Elevate do, as they do in their own respective regions' power rankings. Allegiance, I think, could be one of the surprise North American squads of the split. This is a roster full of talented players, and I think if they can switch it on and really get it going, this is going to be a roster to be feared. And then Noble, Burrito, and Flashpoint retain their spots from last week. Not too much to talk about with these rosters that hasn't already been said. Alright, now let's get to our predictions. So first of all, we're going to take a look at our Thursday games, and the first one we have up on Thursday is going to be Burrito versus Enix. Now, this should be a pretty easy 2-0 for Enix. They look really strong against the Puppies. They looked like an impressive roster overall. They got that nice split with Obey. And Burrito, but they've had some flashes of individual talent, but I don't know if they're quite there as a team yet. Next up, we have Noble versus Monkey Madness. This should be a 2-0 to Monkey Madness. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to talk about with this one. Monkey Madness, a much stronger team than Noble right now. E United versus Eager. This is, I think, going to be a really great matchup, and I think this is going to be a split between these two teams. I really can't pick much between these two teams at the moment, but I give a slight edge to Eager because I really like the talent on that roster, and I'm a little bit more confident in them than E United. Next up, Energy versus Obey. So Thursday finishes off with 2 great matchups, and Energy versus Obey, Fireworks is going to go off here. And I have this one going down as a split, slight edge to Obey after their performance at Masters. Obviously, they took out that tournament. But yeah, slight edge to Obey, but I think this will be a split. Energy rarely get 2-0'd or lose a set. I don't even know the last time they got 2-0'd, honestly. I think it's been a while. So I would predict a split for this matchup, and I am excited to watch it. Probably more so than any other matchup this week. Alright, let's take a look at Saturday now, our EU SPL day. And first of all, we start up with the Puppies versus Obey. The Puppies are always going to put on a show whenever they're here playing in the SPL, but this one goes the way of Obey 2-0. I'm pretty confident in saying that Obey are definitely a stronger team than the Puppies right now, but I'm just excited to watch the Puppies progress over the split. Next up, we have Elevate versus Energy. This one should be a 2-0 to Energy. Elevate are pretty shaky right now, especially after watching last week's games, and I think Energy's a better team than Elevate overall, and probably individually across the board as well. Burrito versus Rival. This should be a 2-0 to Rival. Rival got the split against Energy, which is very impressive. And we know what potential this roster has from Smite Masters. And yeah, as I mentioned kind of previously, Burrito are not looking the greatest right now. Next up, Enix versus Dignitas. I'm going to give this one 2-0 to Dignitas, but this out of all the matches on Saturday, has the highest potential to be a split. If Enix show up on the day and Dignitas are not having a great day, because we know that this is kind of a hot and cold emotional team. Well, not necessarily hot and cold. It's kind of like hot and warm. Like if they're just on a warm day and Enix is really hot, then I think Enix will be able to force the split. I don't see a 2-0 to Enix in any kind of circumstance. But my gut feeling says it's going to be a 2-0 to Dig. Sunday, North American day. Our first matchup is going to be Flashpoint versus Eager. Eager should take this one pretty comfortably 2-0. Flashpoint just did not look great in week number 1. Did not put up much of a fight in their games. And Eager, I'm actually very impressed with their new roster, more so than I thought I would be. Our second match, Allegiance versus E United. I've got this one down as a split because Allegiance has impressed me that much, basically, especially forcing the split with Luminosity. If they can do that, I think they can force the split here with E United. I think this roster just overall is coming together really nicely. The addition of Neilmar is been so huge for this team. E United is still growing. I mentioned I was pretty confident in their ability to follow Polar Bear Mike, and I still feel that way. But I think Allegiance has really impressed me a lot, enough so that I'm going to call this one a split. Noble versus In Memory of Gabe should be a 2-0 to In Memory of Gabe. A very strong team. Gabe, Noble not so much, and I do like the addition of Kiki So Cheeky in the solo lane for In Memory of Gabe. I think that rounds out this roster nicely. I'm not sure what happened with Walrus in this team, whether he just didn't get along with the team and decided to leave or something else happened. But they lost one strong solo laner and picked up another one, so that's a great addition to the team for In Memory of Gabe. And finally, Monkey Madness versus Luminosity. I'm going to put this one down as a split, because Luminosity looked to be a bit shaky last week, whereas Monkey Madness seemed to have kind of a really good control of the games that they were in, and they got that nice split with Eager. So I'm going to put this one down as a split between these two teams. Luminosity have been looking like they're trying to imitate EU playstyle, but it looks like Scary D just had a really rough week last week. And against a solo laner like Fine OK, he will punish you for that. So Luminosity really need to be on point if they want to try and take this one 2-0. But for now, I have it down as a split. Alright, that's going to do it from me, guys. Please let me know what you think of the power rankings and the predictions. Had some great feedback from you guys last week on who you thought should be ranked where, and had some good discussions, on Reddit and in YouTube comments about things like, whether Eager was ranked too high or too low, and and how NA stacked up against EU. And I love that kind of thing. So please, let me know your thoughts. Even if you think I'm an idiot and that my power rank is completely wrong, I'd love to have a discussion and argue about that, because that's the kind of thing I love to do, and that's why I make these videos. So that's going to do it for the SPL power rankings and predictions. I'll have the OPL power rankings and predictions coming out later this week for all your fantasy point needs on the Oceanic side of things. And yeah, I hope to see you then. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.